99.9 Punk World Radio FM. We are here tonight on this Sunday evening. I don't know about Tom, but it is snowing out here in Ontario, and it's a great night to sit down virtually and have an interview. We have the phenomenal Tom from the Interrogation right here live on the radio airwaves. How you doing tonight, Tom?
Hey, Immortal, how we doing, man?
Doing great, man. Despite all the snow and all the hail going on outside, it's nice and warm here in the studio, so you can't go wrong with that.
I'm not gonna lie. I come from the Northeast. I am a recovering American. Please don't hold that against me. And I'm from upstate New York, right across the lake from you in Oswego. So I remember the snow. I remember the hail. I did 30 years of it.
Good old New York State, you can't go wrong. And honestly, even if I was to hate on you for being from upstate New York, I went to Ogdensburg, New York, like less than 72 hours ago. So I
You
mean,
did?
I did, yeah, man.
I used to play in a band called Freya, that the singer from Earth Crisis and multiple members of Earth Crisis are in, and the guy that's currently playing guitar in that band lives and works as a tattoo artist in Ogdensburg.
That's pretty cool. I'm pretty sure when he watches this back, he's gonna know exactly what place I'm talking about. But I went out for lunch at Direct Subs, man. So
Drex, man, absolutely. Upstate
Direct
legends.
Subs, almost impossible question of the day. I mean, you can't go wrong.
Absolutely.
I feel like a radio station shouldn't be promoting another radio station, but you know what? Screw it. Yes FM honestly probably has the best morning
Woo!
show out there, dude.
It is one of the better ones. I agree. My wife actually, her parents up that way is we have a military base, so she actually grew up that way too. Yeah,
Small world, man.
tiny.
Honestly, very small world.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But as we spoke about before we actually went on the air, because I know I mentioned to you, I've been a fan of you way before you guys were actually a four piece. Now you got
Thanks.
before when you were just a solo project, man. I was wondering if you can actually just tell us a bit more about the solo project, but of course, what made you actually decide to turn the solo into a full on band?
Sure, man. Absolutely. First of all, thank you very much. You're one of the very few. The Interrogation, as it currently stands, is a Canadian creation. It was created in the room I'm sitting in right now, here in Vancouver. But the Interrogation overall actually started for me in 2002. I was going to college at the time in music at a local college, and I got this thing called Screen Blast Soundforge, which was this like really early recording software. And I had one of those cables that had like a 1/4 inch on one end and a USB on the other, and plugged it into this terrible computer, and I recorded those albums. And then I was lucky enough in 2009, took those albums to the Berklee College of Music, and that was my portfolio that got me into my 4 years at Berklee. And that was the Interrogation, the original Interrogation. Flash forward, unfortunately, my mother had been terminally ill my whole life, so for 40 years, almost of my life. And in 2018, went through the process with her of passing on, and I couldn't play. I mean, I was a full-time musician myself, as in all sorts of genres up to that point, and I had to take that year off, and then COVID happened, and I just couldn't play. And then one day I started strumming some songs and ideas and put them on my computer. And the original EP that you heard, I sent them to a buddy of mine, a guy named Kevin Billingsley, who's actually worked with Lamb of God and a bunch of other people too, who's an engineer. And I was like, hey, I stole these songs from somewhere. What bands did I steal these from? Because I was convinced I hadn't come up with anything original. And sure enough, it was original. And he, along with a bunch of friends back in the Northeast, helped me produce that first album. Those first 4 songs, which are entirely centered around, my history with my mother and her passing and all the emotions that went around that. Specifically, like songs like Shine from that first record have a lot to do with that. You know, her and I driving around in the summer because she was into music heavily. My parents both were heavily into music. And it created these 4 songs that I didn't think anybody was going to listen to because I put them out and then COVID happened. Like I had a management company, I had an entirely different band than I have now, I had a tour planned, the whole nines. And we put the record out and then COVID, and then that kind of went away. And through the course of, since 2019, or sorry, late 2020, the band has been through a couple different iterations because I thought, as you said, I thought it was just going to be a solo band. That's what I assumed. And then people wanted to play. And then as time went on, slowly, I found Joel French, who is our lead singer, sings on that new track we got. Unbelievable talents, incredible bass player, incredible singer, and arranger in his own right. And we also have, been through so many permutations that now, we've got Eric Nguyen playing guitar with us. Let me say his name right. Our new drummer, his name is Sebastian Valdivia. There it is. I got it. I'm sorry. I can't help this mouth of mine. So now we've been through all of these different changes, and I've been writing songs consistently. And luckily, we were able to finally put out Wicked Happy after even 5 years of sitting on that. And it's actually pushed us much further. We got a music video, we got a full lineup. We're actually, I guess I'll just announce it on here. We're going into the studio in March to finish up an actual EP of more songs that we've been playing live. And this, just to kind of like wrap it up, essentially the Interrogation is a story. It's an entire world. It's a plot based around the existence of these two characters who are kind of always just missing each other through time, and these different, very, human things that they go through, but the stories that their life takes, and the songs going all the way back to the first 30 that I wrote to get into Berkeley, all the way to now, are part of one kind of unbroken story. And we're finally at the place where I've got band members that love what we do. We're all in it as a unit, so we're finally going to get to start talking about that. So very exciting.
And I got to say as well, when you actually listen to the first project and then you listen to Wicked Happy, you can really tell that yourself and the four other guys have so much chemistry when it actually comes to being in this band, man. It really seems like the Interrogation finally interrogated the right people and brought them all together.
Very good. Very good. Absolutely. Yeah, it took some time. We did the math. We actually did a gig, our last gig before it got cold or whatever. And unfortunately, one of our members couldn't make it. And a guy in the room at the gig had been in the band and got up on stage, and we finished the set with him. So
and
yeah, it's
also,
been a little bit of a revolving door.
Oh, you know what, man? I hear so many stories when it comes to bands about how it's kind of been like a revolving door. Sometimes I hear it's really hard to keep bass players and drummers, either keeping them or finding them. It's like it's difficult nowadays.
Yeah, especially drummers. It's hard to find that drummer that's not in 15 bands, or the bass player that doesn't want to be the guitar player. It can be very difficult.
But also, as you mentioned, like during COVID, the album that you actually released was September 25th of 2020, which was a 4-track EP titled "Posters on My Wall." I was wondering if you can actually just tell us a bit more about this album, and of course, is it actually still out there to be streamed or purchased? Because I have to say, even though it was released during COVID, it was such a phenomenal project.
Oh, thank you so much, man. Yeah, that's the biggest labor of love, and that's all me singing. I did all the parts on that, with the exception of the tracking of the drums. So that EP, like as I said previously, just kind of came about because I was dealing with an incredible amount of fallout from the death of my mother. And I learned through that process, learning that I have PTSD and all sorts of these things that were making me not want to work. And for me, and I know this is for anybody who's in the music or is a musician or has that one flow state kind of activity they love, when all of a sudden you stop doing that or can't do that, it's like being cut off from the sun. Like you don't know what to do. And that's why I was sure that, when I thought I was done. I really thought that was it. I thought that 37 or whatever it was that I was when that happened, I thought it was over. I'm like, I spent my entire life professionally since I was age 8, all the way up being a musician. So when these songs started to creep out of me, I started to realize like, oh man, I didn't know what to call it. I didn't have a name for it yet. So, the first one that came out, of all of them was Kick It Off, which is the first track on that EP. It is available still on all your streaming sources. There's going to be some fun re-releases of that later in the next year or two. So we're excited about those things as well. But they're still very much gettable. So Kick It Off, which is the first track on that EP, was the first thing I wrote. I just picked up my guitar and I was like, looking at the way the world was going and growing up in the hardcore scene of Syracuse in the 90s and being friends with the guys in Earth Crisis and Madball and growing up in the straight edge community, the first thing I always go to is where are the haves and have nots? And that's really where that first Kick It Off song comes from, because it's all just about, you can look at life how it is, which is people stomping on you or pushing you aside or taking things from you. But you can also look at life from the point of view, well, maybe there's someplace else that I can be useful. Maybe there's someplace else that I can rise up with my friends and go do the work that we want to see, to be the people that we want to be. And that was such a huge part of my mom's, life. She worked in local government and stuff like that. So did my dad, and they were people who helped people. And so when that came out, I was like, oh, this is awesome. And then after that was Final Mystery, which is another EP on that song. It's that song, as I was writing it, this is going to sound, I'm going to get heck for this, but it reminded me of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. There was that place that they had called the Bronze. And I was like, what would, if there was a modern Buffy, what would be played in there? And I was like, oh, maybe this song. And, so I was kind of trying genres that I'm not used to. I come from a jazz and hardcore and metal background, not light music, not melodic music. So, I was taking and putting these little vignettes of my life on paper again, and trying to, especially with like the biggest one, Summer Love. Like I know people really, really, really love that tune, and it's the perfect summer song to me. I put it in my stereo when I'm driving down the street out here all the time too. But if you listen to the lyrics, what you realize is it was me stuck in this room that I'm sitting in right now, being completely depressed after everything that had happened in my life, and being angry outside, being angry at everybody loving the sun. Because as you know, as being stuck in the snow out here, it's because 6 months of the year, it's just gray. You're just inside of a cloud that is just sticking to you, and you're generally moist. So when the sun comes out here, we're outside immediately. And knowing that I couldn't do that and feeling that negativity, but with a very major chord, very happy sounding song, I thought it ultimately, when I got them all recorded right here on my computer, that like, this can actually help someone. And ultimately, that's what I want to do. That's what everybody in our band wants to do. We want to take the music that we make and take from my case, because I'm the main songwriter, take the stuff that's bad happening to me and go, hey, you're not alone. Like, it's everybody. It's not just you. And if you can, just like you said, liking the tunes, if you can find my tunes on the internet, it makes your day better. I mean, what better work or time could I have spent in my life? And I know the guys all agree with me on that.
And when it comes to Summer Love as well, we've been spinning this on the radio station, and I have to say, people have been absolutely loving it. I've had a few call-ins of people actually wanting to hear Summer
Wow.
Love. So I mean, the interrogation, they've been interrogating me, man, to play the interrogation. So they twisted my arm right back behind my back. So you got to give them what they want.
Wow. Well, thanks to everybody on 99 then.
I will say they didn't twist my arm. I willingly play it, but still,
Okay.
I
As
got
long
to
as
put
it's
up a
not that.
little bit. I want to make it look like I'm putting up a fight, right?
Oh, yeah. I remember classic 90s wrestling. I'm in.
Good old test of strength, you know what I mean?
Oh,
Just
yeah. Absolutely. Just the grapple. Yeah, that's where you got to have it.
And also, fast forward 5 years. I know we got kind of briefly touched on it, but September 19th, 2025, Wicked Happy actually released. I was wondering if you can actually just tell us a bit more about this song. And of course, what was it like just going into the studio, recording this in a different perspective? Because, of course, the four-track EP was yourself, but now this is actually a full five-piece band. What was it like just being in the studio recording Wicked Happy?
I mean, surreal, but an awesome process. I never, as I said, I never expected this to be a band thing. So getting to have to be a band was incredible, and having the partners I had on that recording, because even then that's a slightly different lineup. So the biggest one I got to shout out is a guy named Matt Roach at Rain City Recorders here in Vancouver. The guy just understands like hard rock music. He just gets it. And I've been lucky enough to have personally has some really big recording experiences in my life. I know at least Joel, actually everybody I think in my band now has been in the studio more than once. But the experience with Matt Roach, incredible. If you're ever in need of recording services of any type in Vancouver area, he's great. So it was really smooth. He kind of understood what I was going for. He knew my pedigree and kind of where I was coming from tonally. So he was able to kind of get us there. But really the best part was the process of working with Joel, because that's getting him in the microphone. It's like that's what I've always needed. I've had a lot of people that are a little weird. Like I've actually had people say it's weird not hearing you sing your songs, but I'm like, you know what? Joel understands. Like he understands. We're so tight that he gets all the vibes, so he's able to really pull that stuff out live. And with Wicked Happy, that's my manifesto song. Like that's the one where I go, this is it. Okay, it's the schizophrenia of that song. of it being where life is just so freaking hard to make sense of sometimes, but there's always that voice in the back of my head that's always being like, you got to keep moving, you got to reach for it, you got to keep going because it's there. Even though, like I deal with anxiety and depression, even though the depression is telling you, yeah, everything's bad, your ego, blah blah blah, that good side is always just a little bit of a frame. A lot of the time it's just a little frame change away. And Joel really understood the assignment on that recording, and he nailed that in those vocals. And then my guitar friend, which I said actually the guy who subbed into us for our last gig, Travis Howie, he's in a band called Cloud Sick, incredible pop punk band from out here. You should definitely check him out. You will enjoy them. He was the guitar player at the time. We were kind of getting him into his first band situation. He was a super young buck, and he's incredible. And really, again, understood the assignment. His guitar playing is awesome on that record. Same with Joel on bass. And then, the rest of that process was just incredible. I mean, getting to sit there and hear things that I did on Easy Drummer, a software program or whatever on my computer, getting able to hear it in the room and being able to make tweaks and being able to really tighten up all of that stuff, it was incredible. And then unfortunately we had to sit on it because we went through some lineup changes. And but Joel and I stayed with it. We'd actually played acoustic gigs through the little gap that we had until September 19th. And we were able to build the band up to the point where it's, really ready to get moving up here in Canada. Because this is weird, I guess, but for me personally, I finally feel Canadian. I've been up here for 8 years now, and I love it. I mean, I don't have better words to say about this country for me. And it has allowed me to make this music. It has allowed me to talk to you. It allowed me to be with the guys and to go through that incredible recording experience. It was the coolest thing about my band is that we're all adults. We went through processes with other members, like you go with bands where there's miscommunications, people have different assumptions of outcomes. That happens, right? But unfortunately in bands sometimes it gets real emotional. But with this, my current thing is we're all adults, we all understand each other, and we have lives, and we're able to continue to make this music that we love. So that was an incredible process finishing that track up in the studio, and we're just overjoyed that we finally got to release it to everybody.
And also, when it comes to Wicked Happy, it's been receiving tremendous positive reviews all across social media from different radio stations, radio shows, journalists of all kinds. Did you guys have any idea that this song would make such a positive impact on the punk rock community despite being away for almost 5 years?
I mean, honestly, we didn't have any clue. It was just a song, and honestly, I just thought that people would find it lame because I come from the youth crew, Youth of Today kind of movement. So being that positive can cause some allergic reactions in people sometimes. So I didn't expect it. And as we've been seeing these reviews from reviewers that, by the way, reviewed our first record and didn't have near as good of things to say about it. And I'm so glad that it's the most positive statement that we've ever made. And it's the one that people seem to like right over. I mean, our hits were really just kind of clumped in the United States and Canada, but for this one it's like Europe, lots of Latin America, England, all the Commonwealth nations have been into it, and not to get into the nitty gritty, but without spending the kind of budget that I did the first time around. So really, we couldn't be happier about how this has come off, because it's wow, we loved it. We wanted it to just be like a local hit. Maybe people around town enjoy it, but Canada, period, has been really enjoying it. So we are super duper lucky, and we're so excited for everything that's coming from it. Getting to find new people, new friends,
And also, as you mentioned earlier on, September 26, 2025, you guys took the stage at the Redgate Art Society. But aside from that performance, are you guys going to be doing any more shows this year in 2025? If so, where can we see the Interrogation in their city next, or in anyone's city next, I should say?
Sure. I mean, the answer is, as of right now, we don't have anything planned for through the end of this year. Our focus really is getting this recording done, and to begin to do smaller gigs around town here. The easiest place to find that stuff is through our Linktree or through our Instagram. As of right now, we keep pretty on top of that. But no, at the moment, it's really been about getting reacquainted with everybody because we've been gone a minute, and building up some fun stuff. I mean, in our Instagram and socials, we've built up some fun characters that we're going to be bringing out more and more in the socials. So really, we're just kind of focusing on saying hi, because I spent the majority of my life in a van, touring. The other guys, they have experience for sure, but my entire career was sitting in a van. So I'm at the point in my life where I want to hear what people like you are talking about my music, and be able to really get into the tunes as we release them, as opposed to kind of being sandwiched into this release cycle thing that, especially with the streamers, is getting rockier and rockier to really follow as the streamers are changing. And so for us, it's really focusing on, we got a video out, we got this song out, we're focusing on our EP that we're going to be recording this March with an incredible engineer. And yeah, we're really, really focused on next year, and especially summer next year. We're going to be doing a lot of work. So Canada will be seeing us in many different ways throughout the next year.
And also, I do know that you mentioned you have a brand new EP that you guys are currently working on. You're going back into the studio. I know things are in the very early stages, but from what you are allowed to speak about right now on Punk World Radio, what can the Interrogation fans expect from this up and coming EP when it's all finished and polished and all the bells and whistles and it comes out for the public to listen to? What can they expect from this record?
Well, I mean, what I've found is that I can't hide the fact that I come from the metalcore community of the early 2000s. So you will be hearing a lot of the same big ass choruses. Lots. Joel and I absolutely love harmony singing together. Our voices blend so well that we love doing that. So there'll be we got three singers. You'll be hearing a lot of three singers. We got a new incredible drummer. You'll be hearing a lot of him. Unfortunately, you're going to have to hear me play more guitar solos. I'm sorry. I know those are lame now, but there'll be a couple of those. And the biggest thing I think that might shake people is there'll be a little bit of a heavier edge kind of across the board, and yet the lightest things we've ever done, more or less in the context of just a couple of tunes. So we're bringing the story of the Interrogation out in the front finally. We're telling it it's not a rock opera kind of way, but the story is very upfront, and there's emotional growth even through 4 songs. So yeah, I mean, really, you'll probably just like the hooks. They're really good singable hooks. They get stuck in my head all day long. So my hope is that we'll get some people humming along this summer to some of these songs, and maybe learning a little bit about themselves as they go. And that's really, we want people to, in the world that we live in right now, it's not about escapism. What it's about is like enjoying when you get to enjoy. Hopefully when that song that you listen to of ours is not going to waste your time, and is going to give your life a little bit of a bump, and maybe get you out there playing your own music, because we want to see more bands.
And I will say this, Tom, I might be old school, but maybe this is unpopular opinion, but you had me at guitar solos, dude. I mean, right then and there, I'm looking forward to that, man. Just shred it.
I can't help it, man. I got Steve Vai and John Petrucci and Yang Wei on my walls. I can't help it. I'm 42 years old. I like to rip.
Man, if you get into the moment and you feel you need to do a guitar solo, excuse my language, but fuck it. Just shred it.
Hey, DJ Immortal said it. I'm not forgetting.
But I gotta say, aside from the big things happening in Canada, and of course the brand new EP that you guys are currently cooking up, what is next for the Interrogation, man? Like, is there anything we happen to miss during this evening's interview that you still want to touch on, talk about, or promote?
Well, we are going to finally Actually, I'm wearing one right now. We finally got some new merch. So we will finally have a merch store for people within the next few months. That's going to be coming out of our Bandcamp. That's new for us. It's going to have a lot of really interesting pieces. Also, my family and our family, we have a lot of artists around. So I'm going to be doing a little bit of an art contest. People want to be involved in it because we just love graphic designers. My wife's an animator. So we always want people to send in work if they've got anything, just the symbol or whatever. We would love to see it because we want to include it in some projects that we have going forward in the next year. Beyond that, look forward, to being able to play with some incredible bands that we have out here. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention them. Because they're friends of ours and we're going to be playing with them coming forward in the next year or so. The biggest one is a band called Chief State from here in Vancouver. They're kind of the reigning kings of the pop punk sound out here. They're amazing. If you have the chance to see them in Ontario or anywhere, please go see them. The big friends of ours are a band called Halfway Atlantic. They just had a new song drop, another incredible band. Kind of sharing time up here in Canada. They still got a member down in the States, but they get work done. Incredible band. Cloud Sick as well has got new music coming out. And these are just some of our friends that I want to help get the scene out here noticed, because we have an unbelievable crop of young kids making unbelievable music. And that's just a couple that I could think of. So really, what are we looking forward? We want to promote this city, our friends, everybody playing music, keeping the clubs open, everybody having fun, and just picking each other up. That's what the Interrogation is going to be doing, is just pushing out the good vibes. I know it's lame because I'm out west, but that's what we want to do.
Well, there's a lot of great, amazing, kick-ass bands in Vancouver, man. Like so many. Because
So many.
You got Another Joe, which has Gabe Mantle from Gob. You
Yep.
got also Gob as well. I mean, you can't go, You
Yep.
also got, if you're gonna go back to the '80s, you got Death Sentence as well. A lot of legends, punk rock
DOA.
legends, come out of Vancouver and British Columbia, man. So a huge, phenomenal scene out there.
I was just thinking Johnny Shithead from DOA is an
Yeah.
alderman or an MP out here or something. It's crazy. He's great at his job.
But then when you think about it too, you know what I mean? You think DOA, then you think politician, you're like, whoa,
I know. It's like,
But you know what? Money's money. I mean, at the end of the day, you got to make that money.
yep.
I think even totally off topic, but going to San Diego, we're talking about politicians and authority. Scott Ranner, Blink-182's original drummer, is a cop, which, again, you think about the
Whoa.
jokes and shit they did on stage. Yeah, he works for the LAPD, dude, and he's bald, like Mr. Clean bald. Like you put him underneath
Wow.
the sun and point his head a certain direction, it'll blind you. We're talking that bald.
See, that's never going to be on my bingo card, man. Never going to be on my bingo card.
I didn't believe it either until I actually saw actual pictures. This is before AI kicked off, so it's not AI. Like this was actual pictures of him graduating the academy and everything, and I'm just like, why?
Yeah.
It's kind of like
I've
Ryan
heard your
Reynolds
early
when
records.
Ryan Reynolds in the operating room when he takes off the mask and goes, "But why?" That's literally what I said to myself. Why?
Totally.
But Tom, before we part ways tonight, man, obviously I know how to follow the Interrogation across social media, but people down here in Ontario that might just be discovering you guys right now, how do we go about following you guys all across the board to stay updated on the shows, the new merch coming out, and of course the album as well?
Yeah, real easy. You can Google at the Interrogation or at the Interrogation Band, and it will put you in touch with our socials immediately. You can also check us out through DistroKid and YouTube. Same, at the Interrogation Band.
And I got to say, first and foremost, Tom, thank you so much, man, for giving not only myself, but the radio station airways a bit of your time, man. It was such an honor speaking with you tonight. When the new EP drops, reach out, man. We'll get yourself and the rest of the guys on the radio station, and we'll talk everything Interrogation.
Magic. Hopefully we'll get to see you over in Ontario soon, eh?
Hey, most definitely, dude. If you guys make a show around here, I'll definitely snag some tickets and come on out, man. Because at the end of the day, when it comes to shows, y'all had me at punk rock.
My man. All right. Thanks, Immortal.
Have a good one, Tom. Thank you so much again.
Later, brother.